Good afternoon, everyone. Wow. Usually my voice is soft. Now it's too loud. Okay. Good afternoon. We are going to call this meeting to order. It is 6:03 p.m. and we are going to start off. But before we do, I just want to thank everyone for coming out tonight and being here with us. Your feedback is important and it is crucial to the future of Harlingen. So thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be here with us. We'll get started right away. I want to be respectful of your time. So item number 1 on the agenda is citizen communication. Amanda, do we have anyone signed up?
Yes, we do. We have 5. The first one on the list is Israel Aguilar, 28136 Cook Lane. I don't know if he's in the audience. Okay.
There he is. Hello, Dr. Aguilar. Can you state your name and district, if you will, and you have 3 minutes.
Good evening. My name is Israel Aguilar, 28136 Cook Lane, Harlingen, Texas. Thank you for hosting this particular meeting. I've been quite busy myself with hosting 2 similar town halls and forums for the citizens and surrounding citizens of Harlingen pertinent to the topic of school safety and security. We have gained and gleaned a lot of feedback in the last month or so, and I wanted to come present some of those particular topics to you tonight. Hopefully some of the citizens here today can also speak on that. My concern, particularly with the school district partnership with the city of Harlingen, is something that as an educator and as a taxpayer I'm quite concerned about. Given the recent school violent events in not only in the state of Texas, but across the country, it is quite clear that one of the basic foundations is enough law enforcement to cover every single school. And after reviewing the current dynamic here with the Harlingen Independent School District, it is clear that they don't have a single officer in every single school. And so my concern tonight to share with you from what we've collected in the last community forum, including one that was held on the 11th of the month, and one that was held as recent as this week, is quite telling in that some of our own law enforcement agencies are not exactly prepared to handle particular events or catastrophic event of this sort. Even in talking to the sheriff, the superintendent from the school district, and just again gleaning some other feedback from different community leaders from Primera, Palm Valley, and Combs, it is clear that they also feel that we don't have enough resources. So thank you. I have a lot of feedback to share with you all if you all would like to see it in detail. I invite you to contact me. I would be glad to sit with any one of you to share it, particularly Chief Kester. I know you and I have been in emails back and forth, so thank you. I look forward to be able to share that with you. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, Dr. Aguilar.
The next one is Roy Maggard, 613 East Austin Avenue.
Thank you, sir.
Roy Maggard, 613 East Austin, District 2. Mayor and distinguished city commissioners, I would like to lobby you all to install crisis intervention boards at all city parks to help reduce the suicide rate among veterans. 22 veterans commit suicide a day, and these crisis intervention boards will benefit battered women and homeless individuals as they will know where to go and whom to talk to. The landlord and the VA Senior Management and Administrative Office building and the UT RGV Medical School is now occupying half of the first floor of the VA Harlingen Outpatient Clinic. Many VA employees are working from home and many doctors and nurses are floating around using iPads and laptops to treat veterans because they do not have permanent office cubicle. Please help the VA secure medical space and improve working conditions at the VA. Veterans deserve quality health care treatment. Maybe the city can donate or purchase a building for the VA. I want to lobby the city to vote in favor of hiring a consulting firm to conduct a study to determine if the city can purchase 100 acres of land for the construction of a veteran cemetery in Cameron County. Thank you for listening to my comments today, and I hope my suggestions will be given serious consideration. Thank you, Mayor, distinguished city commissioners.
Thank you, Mr. Maggard, and thank you for your service.
The next one is Desi Martinez.
Desi Martinez, 1806 Haverford, District 5. I list you a list of, not a list, but a summary of what I was going to say. And I'm used to speaking impromptu. So please look at the list or do whatever you want to with it. We are a city chartered by the state of Texas. We appoint a city manager and managers to run the city. Through you, we elect you in 5 districts. We as people go to our district people, our district representative, give our appointments, or our mayor, and you come up with policy making. In 90 days, you would do a budget of over 100 million of this big plane that's piloted by your managers. 1 manager and 2 co-pilots. This big old cargo plane of 100 million has 2 wings. The airport, approximately 30 million, and the Harlingen Waterworks, another 30 million. I'm just guessing numbers. This big old cargo plane of public service provides also services and people from District 3, Drainage District, which is out of San Benito, and that services Ed Carey to East, District 5, Drainage District, that's on the east side of town and north side of town, and we're having drainage from. It also has 911 that we pay with our taxes. We have a combination of resources and services to your constituents. And this survey, to me, as I feel, a master's in this work, is a survey of trying to be accountable for something. No, we work with our districts. That's why people voted for it. 75% of the people said, go to your district or your mayor and ask for policy changes. 2 of you can get together, put it on the agenda, go to work. We need to get back to what we have lost for the last 30 years. Our manager has 20 years experience. He doesn't need a survey. He needs to put down a plan through information that we give you individually or combined so we can get action done. Thank you very much. I'll leave you my comments.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez.
Lorraine Galazar.
I'm going to move this a little. Hello, my name is Lorraine Galarza. I am a resident here from District 1 in Harlingen, and I just want to thank everybody here. I see the policemen. I see Channel 5. I see the commissioners. I see the mayor. We had a town hall meeting, and I believe that had already been spoken about. But I'm here to renovate my personal experience. And, but first of all, I'm sorry. Congratulations, Mr. Kingsley, on your win here in the commission. And it's apparent that it was my personal experience in dealing with the different law enforcement agencies. I spoke about this in the town hall meeting. And the different areas surrounding cities. And our town hall meeting was in discussion about safety and security of the children. I was shocked to hear the employees from the different agencies that are here right now that they had told me that they were told not to attend our town hall meetings. I just wanted to share that here with the public. I know Mr. Ford Kingsley attended it, Frank Morales chimed in. So I'm very concerned about that, Ms. Mayor, and I'm very disappointed. I elected you, I voted for you. You have lost that trust. You show no concern. I thought we got rid of Chris Boswell. We're back right to square one. And I mentioned that I'm from District 1 because if you live in District 1, did you all receive the flashcards that Norma Sepulveda had endorsed Mr. Uribe? How do you think that makes Mr. Kingsley feel? Or all the rest of the taxpayers? Or when somebody's out endorsing, for example, Daniel Lopez, and you find out that the mayor's over there campaigning with somebody else? We should be encouraging everybody, not picking and choosing. Bad choice. I know we all make mistakes, but this is just uncalled for. When it comes to children, it doesn't matter what official position you have. We should all be working on the same page. Shame on you all.
Your 3 minutes
Mr.
are
Kingsley
up.
and I will be working together. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Galarza.
The next one is Marty De Leon.
Marty De Leon? Believe he wants to be called. Is that correct?
Would you like to be called during the meeting? You can call it.
Just give us 1 second.
Hello?
Hello, Mr. De Leon. This is Amanda Elizondo with the City of Harlingen, and
Yes, ma'am.
you signed up under Citizens Communication. You have 3 minutes, and I'll let you know when to start. You may start now.
I'm not attending. My sister will be using my minutes. Her name is Lorraine Galarza.
Oh, okay.
'Cause I'm not feeling well. I'm ill, so I will not be attending.
Okay, thank you so much. You
All
take
right,
care.
thank you for calling me. I
Okay,
appreciate that.
bye-bye. That's it? Is that it?
Thank you. That concludes our citizen communication. Moving on to item number 2, introduction of city staff.
Mayor, thank you. What I'd like to do now is introduce some of the key staff members here at the city, just so that the public can know who it is that's responsible for providing a lot of the services that you receive on a daily basis. I'll start with myself. My name is Gabriel Gonzalez. I'm the city manager. I oversee all 19 departments here in the city. I work well with the EDC, the airport, and Waterworks. They each have their own directors. They do not report directly to me. They have a board they report to, but both the mayor and I serve as ex officio board members on their boards, and you'll get to meet them in just a minute. And I'm going to start with the assistants, starting with Craig Cook. If you could please introduce yourself and give a 2 to 3 minute explanation of what it is that you do in the departments you're responsible for.
Thank you, boss. Good evening, I'm Craig Cook. I'm the Assistant City Manager for External Services. And what that means is that I oversee engineering, public works, parks and rec, and the Tony Miller Golf Course. A couple of those folks will be giving you more details about their departments as we go down the line. But I also work with Josh, who you'll meet in a moment, to assist the city manager in attending meetings that you may not be able to attend, take care of details,
I would ask you to please stand when you're addressing, no, that's all right. The next one is Josh Ramirez, who is the Assistant City Manager for Internal Services.
Good afternoon, and I apologize, I'm not as tall as Craig. I'm standing up. My name is Josh Ramirez, I'm the Assistant City Manager for Internal Services. Internal Services covers, MIAs or internal computer systems. We have our downtown district has one part of this downtown Jackson, and then we have our business Harlingen with other concerts and other events. Then we have the health department. Whoever needs vaccines, let us know. We're pushing a lot of COVID vaccines right now, so we have for the infants up to adults and boosters as well. Targeted associates there. I also have the land use zoning, who also has the code enforcement division with them. We also have CDBG, the federal funds for assistance workers for housing utilization for applying for our home, those live here in college. I also have the library. Please join the library, has a lot of great books, or we do electronic books as well. And also the Capital Museum, that's why University. The museum has a lot of historical, great information from our great city of college. So if you haven't been to the museum, please take time and visit us, especially when I'm the summer. It's a great time to go and enjoy, take your family, get out in school, listen to our museums. Again, like Craig said, we do assist our city manager in the daily operations, answering citizens' calls. You may sometimes hear from me. If you call city hall, Mr. Rosales, attend meetings, you will probably hear from me and try to answer your questions. We're here to serve you. If you have any questions at the end, we'll be around to answer those questions. Thank you.
Next is our Chief of Police, Mike Kessler.
Good evening. I'm Michael Kester, Chief of Police. I've been with the Harlingen Police Department for a little over 32 years, so I've grown up around here for quite a while. The police department has authorized 134 officers currently, and we have another, I think it's 47 civilian staff that help us. We have a full-time communication center, maybe it's called 911 to get our communication center. We have 27 out there. And then we also have a short-term detention facility at the police department. Usually, any arrestees are less than a day, but usually no more than 3 days in usual circumstances. And from the police officer side, we have, of course, your standard patrol division, as you see on the street every day, passing guys, see on the street every day. We also have a full service criminal investigations division, and our support services, which take care of most of our public events. We just had a barbecue cook-off. We got National Night Out coming up. We run with the Heroes, and we do an event with the school district as far as Chop with a Cop come Christmas time. And part of the CID division is something I'm sure we'll be talking about a little bit further, is our SRO program with the school district. So we'll expand on that when we get to those questions.
Next is Javier Mendez, our Parks and Rec Director.
Good evening, Mayor, City Commission, public. Parks and Recreation is divided into 5 divisions. Of course, we have our administration, we have our parks, aquatics, recreation, and in our athletics. There's administration, they're in charge of rentals, pavilion rentals, facility rentals, and also our pavilion rentals. Our Parks Division, they maintain our grounds, our sports fields, our buildings, our grounds around our buildings, right-of-ways. There's 24 parks that the city maintains and oversees. It's a little bit over 600 acres that we maintain. There's about 21 miles of trail that we also maintain throughout the city. Some are trails along the Arroyo, some are internal or park exclusive trails that we have. The parks, the staff, they open restrooms, of course, in the mornings and close them in the evenings. We also help out other departments with support staff for special events. We have 33 employees there in the Parks Division. Under our athletics, he oversees our youth sports leagues. We also have an internal or city league that he oversees as well. It's softball and 7-on-7. Then we have our aquatics. They oversee the 3 pools that we have, and then the splash pads that we got. We have Pendleton Pool, which is open year-round. We have Victor Park Pool, and then we have Lonsdale Hill Pool. They also oversee several events during the year. They either have the triathlon events that they have. They also have other events during the year. In that department, we have 37 employees, 1 full-time and 7 part-time lifeguards, with 29 seasonal lifeguards. And then the last one I got is recreation. Recreation is in charge of all our recreation programs throughout our city, the free classes that we provide. They're also in charge of Tu Salud 50, which is also a health and wellness program that we got a grant for. And they're also in charge of our special events, Viva Streets, Halloween in the Park, the marathon, and then I'm also in charge of public buildings. So we have, of course, administration, building maintenance, and custodial. And we have 51 buildings that we oversee, that we maintain, 6 employees. And again, we have, that one's split up in 2 divisions. We have the maintenance and tech, and then we have the custodials. And so under the custodials, we have 8 full-time custodial workers that are maintaining city buildings. I'll be here for any questions that come up. Thank you.
Next is our Fire Chief, Rafael Valderas.
Good evening, Rafael Valderas, Fire Chief. I've been here about 1.5 years. I oversee 110 firefighters. They're all certified. We do not have any volunteers. We're all career. We respond out of 8 stations that are strategically placed throughout the city so that we can have good response times. One of those stations is over at the airport. We also have coverage there. Our training division holds our own fire academies and our EMT academies. We look over for a $12.7 million budget. 85% of that is salaries and benefits. And by the way, we are taking applications. If you know anybody that's interested and wants to join our team, we are taking applications through July 5th, and they'll be testing on July 14th. We respond to not only fires, but we go to medical emergencies, we go to vehicle accidents. We also respond to specialized disciplines, high-angle rescues, trench rescues, and so forth. I hope that you never need our services, but I want you to know that your fire department is trained and prepared to respond 24/7. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Rodrigo Davila is our Public Works Director. He is not here today. He is observing COVID protocol. He was exposed. Lily Garcia is our Assistant Public Works Director. You want to give just a brief overview of what it is your department does, Lily?
Yes, sir. Good evening. My name is Lily Garcia, and I am the Assistant Public Works Director. Our department currently is roughly about 100 employees. And our divisions include Public Works Administration. Public Works Administration, who handles all the incoming calls and does all the work orders for services that we provide. We have our street maintenance and our street cleaning department, which take care of all the roadways, alleyways, sidewalks, the street sweeping, and the maintenance of drainage ditches. And then we have our traffic department, which is in charge of all the traffic lights, the street repairs to the street lights. Then we have our sanitation department, which includes our brush and debris department, which collects all your brush and debris. We also have our landfill department, which is our transfer station for all residents and commercial establishments to come and dispose of any solid waste that they might have. We also have our sanitation department, which collects your residential and commercial garbage. And then we have our fleet maintenance department, which takes care of all the city vehicles on repairing them in-house and outsourcing as needed. Thank you.
Next is our planning director, Javier Cervantes.
Good evening, Javier Cervantes. I'm the Planning and Development Director. I'm in charge of planning, building inspections, and code compliance. We're 20 staff strong. This fiscal year, which is October to now, we have issued $84 million in building permit valuations. The record is $116 million. That was set in 2012. I feel very good about our chances of breaking the record in building permit. The growth right now is phenomenal. Anything I can do for you, let me know. I'm here, code compliance or building inspections. I'm here to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Next is Sergio Mojica, our MIS director.
Good afternoon. I'm Sergio Mojica, and we've been with the city for 33 years. We oversee the MIS department, which stands for Management Information System, or a lot of people know it by IT department. Been director for the last 8 years, in different positions throughout there. We manage over 1,000 IT devices. 650 of those are desktops, mobile devices, servers. We also manage our own city mobile app. The city also has its own email server, which we manage and support. We also manage our website. Total employees for the IT for the city is 6 employees, including me. 2 of those are dedicated to the police department. All the other force support everybody, all the other departments. And what else? So we also manage our own, fly our own drones, city drones, city drones. They are managed by the IT department also. That's all I have.
Next is Robert.
Good evening, Robert Rodriguez. I'm the finance director for the city of Harlingen. My department is 11 employees, and we handle all aspects of finance and accounting, including budget, payroll, treasury. We maintain a budget, the general fund, of approximately about $50 million, and all funds is approximately almost short of $100 million budget. We also handle the internal and external audits for the city. I also oversee the municipal court, which has about 9 employees, and they handle all operations of the municipal court. I also oversee purchasing, which has 2 employees, and warehouse, which supports the entire city for all inventories. And that's pretty much it.
Thank you. Now we're going to hear from Radel Garza, who is the Economic Development Corporation CEO.
Good evening. My name is Raudel Garza. I'm the CEO for Harlingen Economic Development. There are 2 economic development corporations in the city of Harlingen. One of them is what we call the Type A, and the other one is called the Type B. I manage the Type A, which is the corporation that tries to bring in primary jobs, and those are the bigger companies that are in the manufacturing sector or in the back office sector or the healthcare sector. And so those are most of the jobs that we try to focus on attracting. We do also work with retailers and trying to bring them in. During COVID, we did something that was totally different, and we really started changing our focus and focused on small business development and small businesses that were hurting, trying to keep them afloat. We started a program, didn't have anything to really base it off of, but we started a program that really helped a lot of those people continue their operations. And we continue to do those kind of things, is just try to be innovative in the different incentive programs that we create so that we can try to attract and continue to grow the city. The city has continued to grow over the last 10, 15 years at a 3% clip in terms of sales tax growth. Job growth was going really, really well until COVID, and then now we're almost back up to the same job growth that we were prior to COVID. So things are going very well, but I know that there's still some people out there that are hurting, and we're working our best to try to make sure that those people get the services that they need as well. We work very, very closely with the airport, with the Chamber of Commerce, obviously the city, Harlingen Waterworks. We're typically in just about every development meeting. trying to make sure that the businesses that are trying to open up have a smooth sailing through the process. There's 5 of us on the staff, and we keep very busy trying to also address the phone calls that come in, and marketing. A lot of times if you see commercials on TV, those are being paid for through the sales tax dollars that you all are generating. We go visit companies in person also, trying to get them to relocate or expand or retain those jobs also. That's very important because a lot of times when times get tough, some of those people start laying people off, and we have to try to make sure that they keep their doors open as well. So that's some of what we do. Obviously, we touch a lot of things that are very important to everybody. Quality of life, downtown, entertainment, and of course, jobs. And jobs is really the main thing for us, is we try to bring in more jobs so that people can have a better quality of life. And it's really tied into education as well. What happens with UTRGV or TSTC really does impact us as well. So with that, I'm available for any type of questions later.
Next, we're going to hear from Marv Easterly, the Valley International Airport Director.
Good evening. I'm Marv Easterly. I'm the Director of Aviation for Valley International Airport. Valley International Airport is a FAA Part 139 airport, meaning it's a commercial service airport and a modern one at that. We have about 62 employees with a $14 million annual budget. That does not include project work that we do there at the airport. A lot of that is funded through the federal government. We have 62 employees at all sorts of things you can imagine that has to go in the airport that we manage, including contract management, lease management, air service development, parking. We also manage all our marketing at the airport, and again, future development to make sure we stay up with the times. We also have our own police force at the airport to manage security under TSA, Transportation Security Administration requirements as well. So it can get pretty busy and pretty hectic most of the time out there. I guess that's why we like it, right? I think that's it.
Thank you, Marv. Next, we're going to hear from Tim Skoglund, who is the Waterworks Director.
Good evening. My name is Tim Skoglund, General Manager for Harlingen Waterworks System. We are the city department that's responsible for water and wastewater service for the city of Harlingen. We do not provide storm drain service. Sometimes folks call our number. That would be referred to the Public Works Department. We do have some wholesale contracts. We provide all of the water to Palm Valley, to Primera, and to Combs. We also supply some water to some neighboring water supply corporations. We also receive and treat the wastewater collected by the towns of Combs and Primera. So we have about 85,000 people in total, if you include those wholesale customers that we serve. We are managed by a separate board, as the city manager had talked about. We do have a separate fund. The funds that we use in the maintenance and operation of our system come only from the revenues that we collect from our customers. Taxes from the city don't come to the waterworks, and our revenues don't go to the city. And so that is a form of transparency and accountability that I think is important. Some fun facts. We have 2 water treatment plants. Operate most of the year. One of them full-time, of course. We have a wastewater treatment plant on the east side of town. We have over 500 miles of water lines, and so that's a lot of length of pipe to maintain. On the sewer side, over 300 miles. So we have about 140 employees right now. We're not at full staffing, so again, we would put out the call for applicants who are interested in water. So that requires a lot of effort. We have 24/7 crews who respond to calls, leaks, sewer backups, and so forth. I think it's important to mention, we are just now completing a comprehensive master plan for our water and sewer systems. And it's the first time that it's the most recent time we've done it in maybe a couple decades. And it's defining a very aggressive capital improvement program to address existing issues that we've got in the system, backups that we have, low pressure water in some areas. It's going to define capital improvements that fix those issues, but also provide for future growth to Harlingen. So as Harlingen grows, we're not continuing to stack demand on existing systems. So it's going to define a lot of work in front of us, but we're happy to tackle it. I would say that water and wastewater is one of those services that we all, Waterworks employees included, take for granted except when it doesn't work. And so, but it is an important part of our community. It's essential to public health, and I would consider it a pleasure and a privilege to be able to work for the city of Harlingen in that capacity. So I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have during the Q&A.
Mayor, that concludes the introduction of staff.
Fantastic. Moving right along, Item number 3, explanation by city staff regarding city website, city meetings, and citizen communication forms. We're going to try to be real quick here so that way we can get to why everybody is here.
Okay, Mayor, just for those that aren't familiar with our website, the way you get to it is you would go to a search engine, just type in City of Harlingen, you click on the link, and it'll take you directly to our website. The survey that we're going to be talking about tonight is here. You just click on that, and it'll take you straight to the online survey. It has drop-down menus for you to fill out. If you choose not to want to do it this way, you can print out a printable version that is here. We have copies out in the front for all of you to pick up and fill out if you haven't done so already, or you can take some with you back to your home to have some of your family members fill it out. If you want to know about when we're meeting, the information is here, city meetings, agendas, and packets. It's also located down here, so you can just click on any one of those, and it will take you directly to a link that shows you where every single city meeting will be held and the time. And for city meetings, they're usually live streamed, so we'll put a link here. You can actually click it and go straight to the link. And then for citizen communication forms, they'll actually be here for a city commission meeting. They get removed after every meeting. So that's just information for everybody that may not be familiar with our website. It's pretty easy to use. MIS maintains a website for us, so and that pretty much covers our website protocol, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Gabe. And as Mr. Gonzalez said, we do have printed surveys in the back, so if you haven't gotten one before you leave today, please take one with you. If you are at your seat and you have one, you want to fill it out and leave it here, then that would be great too. I know we've gotten a few concerns that it's a little lengthy. It is 6 pages long, but we are a large city, and we, as you saw here today, there are several different departments, and in order for us to know what your concerns, what your issues are, and how you want us to prioritize your needs and concerns, it's very important that you fill it out in its entirety and give it back to us. Once we have that survey, what we're going to do with that is we're going to analyze that data. UTRGV is going to help us to ensure that can you hear me? So that way we can analyze that data and know what's important to you. We'll have it separated in districts. So each district on the survey, you get to, put your district 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you don't know your district, then you can. There's maps at the back of the building. At the room. I'm sorry. You can look there, and of course, certainly we can help you as well. It's important to do that so that way we know the needs in District 1 may be different than the needs in District 2, and we can have that data available to us. In addition to that, this will not be the only opportunity for you to voice your concerns. If you leave here today thinking, gosh, I really wish I would have asked this, or I had to run and I really wanted to, ask one of the directors something, then there'll be additional opportunities. We will be hosting a town hall in each district within the city of Harlingen, and we will be doing that within the next 60 days. So within the next 60 days, we will have had a town hall meeting in each of the districts. And it'll be an additional opportunity for you to tell us about your concerns in a more intimate setting as well. So I hope this is the first start of our engaging with you so that you feel comfortable, that you can participate in the process, and so we can grow Harlingen together. Okay, so first, I just want to kind of go over the format a little. Do you want to do that, Gabe?
What we're going to do is, when the mayor reads the agenda item, that'll give everybody that's in the audience an opportunity to comment on any one of the sections that's in the survey. We're going to keep the discussion to the items that are on the survey form only, because that's the agenda item that was posted. So you'll be given 3 minutes to talk about a particular issue. If there's questions from the commission, they'll be allowed to ask those questions, and then so that'll extend your time discussing that, and especially if they ask for clarification of a particular item. So with that, if anybody needs to know what particular topics are on the form, if you don't remember, if you'd like to have one, there's some in the back. You can get one now, and then we'll call up everybody in an orderly fashion, and we'll start as soon as the mayor opens up the public comment for this particular item.
Item number 4 is discussion with citizens regarding the 2022 Harlingen Resident Survey. A copy of the survey has been attached to the agenda and also available. So if there is anyone at this time that has a question or a concern or just a statement, if you can please come to the podium.
For the record, if you would just state your name, your address, and for the record, thank you.
Yes, Linda Ramos, 1022 North B Street, District 2, and this is for our District 2 Commissioner. A lot of stuff that we need in District 2 that has not been allocated. We are in the dark. Our children don't have nowhere to play. A lot of these kids might get run over on Commerce. Commerce roads are, I noticed that in your area where you live, that while you were campaigning, you somehow fixed the streets and said that it was you're responsible for doing so. So since that is done, I would like to know your first business of order to take care of the District 2 that I have been allocating, fighting for these kids for years. I want to know when you're going to start illuminating those streets. I understand there's different departments here, but I am also a taxpayer and I have children, and my concern is the streets are dark. Okay, the old District 2 is completely dark. District 1 as well. The flooding, also. We got granted $5 million in 2020 for the city of Harlingen. What has been done? Who has started what? Luckily, we haven't gotten that storm that we're gonna get probably very soon, where we get so flooded, 12 inches. Harlingen High School, my son last year, his coach had to bring him home because a lot of the kids, their cars were in 12 inches of water. Those people that don't have much of nothing couldn't get out of their homes. What is being done about that? All this, we voted for everyone, that's fine, but our city needs to be corrected and fixed, and all this, and recreation, that's nice, but our city looks dead, and especially where I live, these kids needed something to do, and the streets need to be fixed, some additional stuff, all this, I hear all this funding in every department and such, but the kids are our future. And I want to know what everybody's doing about it, because that's the main concern. Because we do have a beautiful city. We used to be beautiful, and it's dying. So my thing is, I would like something done soon, because I want to be illuminated, not in the dark. And I would like something for the kids to be able to play with. Our district is pretty big, and going to the Boys and Girls Club is not. It's a big intersection on Commerce, and I see these kids walk across the street, crossing the railroad tracks, walking because some of these kids don't have and what to go in, where there's beautiful parks that can be done over, basketball courts especially, because I like to coach basketball, and it's kind of hard taking 10 or 12 kids to the Boys and Girls Club when they don't have.
3 minutes are up.
Thank you.
Anyone want to respond, or is there any further discussion? Thank you. Approach. Please say your name again one more time.
My name is Lorraine Galarza, and I'm from District 1. And I also wanted to ask what the first order of business is for District 1. I have done a lot of block walking myself and meeting mostly all my neighbors in that area, and I've heard a lot of concerns in reference to what was needed to update the community in that area. And for example, I heard a lot of concerns about flooding, the lack of light, so forth. I've even started a neighborhood watch and so forth in my district, and this is how I came to meet people out in the community. And along that path is when I've heard all of these concerns. I have introduced myself to Mr. Kingsley, and we have agreed to work together and work as a team so that all of these needs are met. And again, I hear a lot of people talking about, well, we have this and we have that, but I just bought my house in my district, and I am already hearing that it floods and the water is going to get into my house, when I wasn't informed that by the county or by the city when I purchased my home. But I have learned a lot about the area just by talking to everybody. So I too want to know, what is the first order of business, and what are we going to do? What do we have to do collaboratively to get to where we need to? Because I don't want to know that I moved into a neighborhood that's run down not only by crime, but now also with the problems of the flooding, the lighting, the speed bumps, the curbs. And I hear a lot of comments from the neighbors and the neighborhood that they have called the city, they don't respond. I myself invited a staff member to the neighborhood watch meeting, and he did not show up twice. And he is from the Parks Department. So I'm very interested to know. I don't want to hear what we think you're going to do. We elected you all to be in these positions. Get to work, gentlemen. Thank you.
So just so that way everybody understands the format here, we definitely want to hear your comments, your questions, but if you just stay at the podium for a second after you've made your commentary, so that way you can see if any of the commission would like to address your issues, because that's what we're here for. We want to be able to participate. We want to be able to provide you responses. This is an opportunity that, you know, we don't normally have. Citizen communication is where we cannot respond. This is a different format, so I want to make sure everybody knows that. So if you'd like to come.
I really would like to know and as far as the streets are concerned as well.
So
there's no brushing.
That's
Yes.
correct. So the directors of the departments can respond, and of course this is if they have an answer for you or to provide any feedback, as well as the commission.
Thank you.
I'll start off. Ma'am, everything you said, based on my experience, is 100% true, right? It was through the campaign when I started driving through neighborhoods at night, right? You're right, my neighborhood is by HB on Commerce, right? So when I started driving on B Street, when I started driving Orange Heights, the one that's perpendicular,
Finley.
What's that?
Finley,
yeah, absolutely. Finley,
Crime is
T
bad.
Street, R Street.
Yes.
You start driving down Madison, West Monroe over there by Fair Park. You're absolutely right. It's super dark, and I wouldn't feel comfortable. My wife takes my son out walking, and even in my neighborhood, I'm not comfortable with that. So what I've been doing is I've been driving through the neighborhoods, reporting which lights are already out. And what you will notice when you drive home tonight is that they're replacing the old orange lights, those ugly ones that we've seen, like we grew up with, right, with the brighter LED lights, right?
That's right.
But I still believe you're 100% correct. It's still not enough, right? Because even if they're replaced, what you'll see, what I've noticed, and I think it's what you're saying also, is you'll have like a bright light here, and then like super dark, and then like another bright light, and it's like all on one side, right? So you're absolutely correct. This is something I actually met with Gabe on Monday, and I sent him a massive email. I know I overwhelmed him with a lot of the concerns that you and other District 2 constituents have that we need to work on, right? Going back to flooding, I've already been working with Drainage District number 5 and meeting with them. It's a little north of where you're at. So you know the corner of where Commerce and 77 meet, kind of where like DPS is over there. That's where we,
Why?
what's up?
The why?
Yeah, that's what I call it, right? Exactly, right? So there's the North Main drain that's there. DD5 is going for a grant for that, and what we need to do is how do we push water out?
Why do we need a grant if we were awarded $5 million in 2020? I don't understand about the grants.
Yeah, and you're right, and that's something I need to look into, right? See what money we do have for infrastructure. But it's those things that you're hitting on, like Vestal Park, which is right in your neighborhood.
Exactly.
That needs more
The
lighting.
school has closed the basketball courts for these children
Yeah.
that don't have parents or no one else. That's my concern, is these children, and we like to ride our bikes, like you say, your wife likes to walk. I like to walk as well.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, there's gunfire going on because it's dark, the crime rate, and then there's nothing for the kids to do. And the patches that were done on Zavala Park is a disgrace, like a complete disgrace.
When you say Zavala Park, what do you mean?
The one next, the one next door to Zavala Elementary?
Vistal Park.
No, Zavala Park.
Okay, I'll look for it.
Yes.
But yeah, that area, right, like a little south where you have like Ona and all that area, those roads are real bad as well. And those are things we need to start looking at. Commerce is one of my biggest ones.
And it's not about starting to look, because I've been there for 13 years.
Yeah.
And sir, I have seen nothing but destruction. Luckily, I live in front of Zavala Elementary, that they illuminate me, because I'm a single parent. And at the time I had 4 little children, which I still have a 12-year-old still that lives at home. But unfortunately, we do live in an area where it can be fixed. And I believe that I, as a community coach for these children, when I coach them, that's what they need is love. And if they have the stuff to do it, so why not do it?
You're absolutely right. Absolutely. And no, these are the things I'm working on. I've already started working on with city manager, and I'll be working on it with Public Works. And after the meeting, if you'd like, I'll give you my personal cell phone number so you can text me, call me, and then we can continue this discussion.
Sure you want to do that?
Absolutely.
I'm a big advocate. You already know that, because your aunts know, and I talk to them.
Yeah.
And your aunt lives in our area, and
Absolutely.
she knows, and there's no reason why her and I need to move out of that area when we love our roses and stuff that we plant and stuff. So, but we just want a better, and for the
Ma'am,
kids.
if I can get your contact information also, please, I'd appreciate it.
Thank you.
After the meeting, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming up here.
Ma'am, what I did want to mention, the 20 million that, I'm sorry, my name's Rene Perez, I'm District 5.
Yeah, I know who you are.
From the 20 million that you were mentioning, we did invest earlier last year about I believe it was $6 million into drainage. That's going to different drainage projects throughout the city. I think one was on 13th, another one's going to be on Hick Hill and some other drainage projects. Another 10 million, I believe, is going to the waterworks to help with some much needed upgrades to our water treatment plant. That's important.
First of all, I have a question about the Harlingen Waterworks.
Trust me, all my district does too.
It's okay, because I just want to know one thing. Why are they called Harlingen Waterworks if they're a separate entity? I'm sorry. I have a lot of questions.
I wanted to keep it short, so I was going to talk about that. We do have a board that is appointed by the City Commission. And so the City Commission has the opportunity, if there's an action by Waterworks, the City Commission can appeal that, and by vote, they can change anything that our board does. So there is ultimately complete accountability to the elected leaders of Harlingen. So we talk about a separate structure, and the city manager talked about that. There are departments that don't report under the city manager because those departments report to a board that is appointed by the Harlingen City Commission. And so that's the case for us. Our board makes most of our major decisions, but when it comes to issues like annual budget approval, that has to be approved by the City Commission. When it comes to a revenue bond that we issue to build infrastructure, the City Commission has to approve that. Anything having to do with rates, adjusting rates, that ultimately has to be approved by the City Commission. So there are categories of very high-level things that are important that largely affect money that the City Commission has to approve. But if we're talking about a $60,000 contract, for example, that would be a tremendous load for them to consider everything that we go through. And that's why by city charter, Harlingen Waterworks Board was established many, many decades ago.
A long time ago.
Yeah. So,
Very long time ago.
and so there is, as I talked about, this financial separation, but what Waterworks does financially, we are still accountable to
My
City
concern with the citizens of Harlingen that during the COVID time, including myself when we didn't have no jobs, was that the Harlingen Waterworks was not working with any of our citizens, and we're disconnecting our water when we have children, and that was the main source to be able to sanitize these children and parents. And that's how I found out that you guys were a separate entity. That's why I said, why aren't you called the Waterworks Serving Harlingen? Because I wanted to do payment arrangements. I didn't want to hand me down because I already had a job. I don't ask for anything for free. I'm well educated. I can get a job. However, my neighbors, other people that I know, Harlingen Waterworks was indicating that they're not able to make any type of payment arrangements for citizens in Harlingen. And a lot of kids were without water, actually. And that was my concern of how I found out this situation. And I investigated more, and I know that it's been a while. But however, to make it very short, in situations like that, that is a big concern to the citizens of not helping or, assisting. And that was just my question, because I didn't understand how that all worked. Because even if my mortgage company gave me an extension, why can't y'all do that for the citizens of Harlingen?
Sure. Well, what I can tell you, and memory is fading a little bit here, but there was a period of several months, and I might understate or overstate by saying it was about 6 months, that we had a moratorium on disconnections. And so what happens in a case like that, the bill continues to accrue. When we go out for bonds, the rating agencies look and enforce certain requirements in those bonds to say that we can't give free service. And so you talk about deferred payment plans and so forth, and that's a good idea, and perhaps that could have been pursued in some ways, but there are restrictions on what we can do in terms of providing service. The other issue is once those bills start mounting, you get to a point where if you haven't paid the bill, it's really difficult to pay that back. And so it was later, I believe in the fall of 2020, that we resumed our regular disconnection policy. And so,
which is you only get 2 allowed per year. The citizens get extensions, 2 extensions per year, and actually it's not 2 extensions per year. You have to go by the month. So if everybody doesn't know, it's going to be, if you got an extension in September, you have to wait until September again to get that extension. That was my issue. I was real excited. I'm like, oh, it's been a new year and I got it. But it wasn't the case. But that's the past. But that's another thing to consider is the months. If you're giving 2 extensions per year, maybe consider cutting off the month. Maybe City of La Feria, they have a grant where they actually get, if they have a financial burden for one time, they pay it off for them. I mean, we're such a big city, and I think that we can accommodate for a lot of citizens. I'm not saying free.
Ma'am, I'd like to point out that we did have a program. Can you just turn off your mic? We did have a program that we did provide assistance to anyone in the city of Harlingen that lost their job due to COVID-19. The city set aside $275,000 to pay for water, electricity, sewer, gas, and then your rental assistance and your mortgage payment. But you had to prove that you lost your job due to COVID-19. And then
I referred a lot of residents to that as well.
We did provide assistance for 3 months. And then we had a separate program through the CDBG that had over $1 million for that same activity, but you had to be low to moderate income to receive that assistance.
Yes, and they did. I referred a lot of people there as well.
Thank you.
Because I don't think there was a lot of public knowledge, but thank you for your time, and thank you guys for listening, because, I could go on for a long time.
Well, you can always call me,
Yes.
okay?
But thank you guys,
Thank you.
and I know that the police department is overwhelmed, and I thank you guys either way, because I know that they always pass by my street, and I'm used to my neighborhood. So pretty much everybody knows me. The kids that are older now, I'm not gonna say my age, but they're like all my kids there, and so they come with the lights because there's no lights. And thank you for keeping us safe as well.
Thank you so much. Please approach. Thank you.
Kathy Sheldon, 1609 East Van Buren. I'm only here to say I'd like to respectfully suggest that we limit everybody's comment to 2 minutes. 3 is more than adequate, but 2. And then you state what your problem is or your concern or your question. Then everybody has a chance to come up and say that and not try to solve or give the answer right away. I expected to go over and talk to the individual people myself afterwards, if that could be done that way, because I'd be interested in hearing what other people have to say. And, if there's time after and people want to go into great detail, great. But I would just make that suggestion. I don't know.
Yes, ma'am. And just thank you so much for that. And that is the process. Maybe we weren't very clear, but we want to be able to engage. But if you can come up, ask your question, and then listen to the responses, and let's keep it to a shorter length of time. And you can listen to the responses and then have a seat. Okay, well, we're not going to be doing that because we're here to be able to give an opportunity for the commission to engage and also the directors, but we won't be going in a back and forth to be respectful of everyone's time.
Hi, my name is Christina Fonseca. I'm in District 5, and I don't really have anything to say, but pretty much everybody's said what needs to be said about infrastructure, and although that really does need to be attended to, my concern for being here is the children. We have 17 people up here, and it's hard for me to really imagine if something happened that y'all would be in sync and know what to do. I would be really curious to find out everybody's individual answer about what y'all would do. The chief of police is here, so that would be really handy. But my concern is that we may lack harmony and communication with everybody. And I'm sure that's a concern for everybody, including you all, being able to know who to call if something happened, whether it be something with a disaster in maintenance or a fire incident or public works. You guys were telling us a little while ago, oh, I don't do this, it would be public works. That's kind of the situation I'm talking about, having an emergency and being told that you're calling the wrong department. Having a harmony is very important for the citizens of Harlingen because not everybody has a computer. This was available online, but I don't know how everybody else would have been able to find out about it. I am still really happy that you guys had this. It's good to see faces in one place. That's really, really excellent. I hope you guys keep doing this. The commissioners, as far as the commissioners and Mayor Norma, I'm really glad that you guys are on board with each other and communicating. I really feel like it's important, though, that you go to all the community forums, even if you're having your own on something like public safety or whatever it may be. I think it's still very important that you try to reach out or send a proxy into whatever the community is having. Like, for example, the forum that happened recently at the American Legion for public school safety. Commissioner Frank went, thank you for going, and Commissioner Kinsley went, and that was it. We really need more of you guys to actually go. I know that you have your own forum, and it's easier or simpler to just have it here and send memos for everybody to come, but it's harder to actually step up for your people when we're calling on you. I mean, campaigning, I know you guys can block walk, so I know it's possible for you guys to go door to door and maybe even go to a meeting, and even if you have to send a proxy and just say that you're not able to go. But it should not be left unsaid. It should not be left to silence. It looks bad. It makes you guys look unaccountable. And if there was an emergency, how can we even trust you all that you're going to be in sync with each other? I'm sorry, I didn't think there was going to be a time frame, but I would like a response from you all as far as assurance that you all are in harmony and that you will commit to coming to community forums.
Well, I'll respond to that, and I will say that that is why everybody is here today to introduce themselves. Most of us have lived in the city for decades. This is our home. We love Harlingen. There's many directors that have been loyal to the city of Harlingen, that have worked here for years. Mr. Gonzalez has been here for years. We will work, I will personally work with city staff to ensure when people are calling to the city of Harlingen that they are directed to the right place. Especially if it's an emergency, I think we all know, then the city of Harlingen isn't where you're going to call. You're going to call 911, but if it is something urgent that needs to be addressed, that's something that we can work on, and that is a complaint that I've heard from many of our constituents, that they call the city of Harlingen and they don't get the responses. That is something that we're going to actively work on, and I commit to you. Community forums, I'm going to do my best to have, as I mentioned, we're going to have town halls in each district. Unfortunately, I'm one person. I can't be everywhere at all times. I understand that you had a community forum. There are forums that are going to be from the city of Harlingen. You're always welcome to come, and I will definitely do my best to be as many as I can.
So just a quick question.
If I can just complete my thought here. You mentioned a proxy, and I know that I spoke with Commissioner Ford, and he did tell me that he was going to be attending. And I know that Commissioner Morales attended, and those are two commissioners from the city of Harlingen representing the city of Harlingen. We cannot all be there because that would constitute a quorum, and that isn't allowed. But it's just something that we can't do, unfortunately.
So you're saying that you cannot come to a forum and have a proxy speak for you? Frank did not speak. He did not speak. Kinsley did, but he did for himself.
Right.
So you saying that they are going to represent you and be your proxy, is that official? Or are you saying that they came in to speak for you? Because Mr. Morales did not say anything. And what I'm saying is everybody expected you to be there, Mayor, and you were not there.
I understand your concerns, and
but do you understand that you needed to be there? It was kind
That
of
issue is not part of the survey
Correct.
that we have posted, so if we could just limit comments to the survey, please.
Okay.
yes. And if you have questions for me after, you can come and talk to me.
Good evening. My name is Philip Sotelo, and up until 2 years ago, I was a lifelong resident of Harlingen. I now live in Rio Hondo because I got married. Please forgive me for that. I'm blind, and that is my concern, and I hope it is on the survey. I consider it a safety issue. I'm going to share 2 recent experiences that I had that had affected me negatively because of the way the city of Harlingen addresses accessibility for not only the blind, but the disabled as a whole. I applied to get a guide dog, but I was disqualified. And the reason I was disqualified, I was supposed to submit a video to see if I could manage an intersection. So I went to Lincoln and Dixieland twice, and I couldn't. And because of that, my application was rejected. The second experience that I had was here about an hour ago. If anybody paid attention, this disabled access parking is over, if I'm not mistaken, behind me, as far away as you can get from the door. While there were cars parked right there at the door, and I kind of got to wondering, the city of Harlingen has it all reversed. I'm not here to complain, and on the contrary, I want to work with the city of Harlingen. I want to bring understanding to persons with disabilities. I am blind. I also have another physical disability that I deal with as well. But my concern is, at this point at least, is the lack of accessibility at corners, crossing streets. Madam Mayor, I sent you an email. I'm not sure if you have received it with information on what's called Assisted Pedestrian Systems, or APS. Those are designed to help the blind walk across the street. It emits audible signals, countdown timers, et cetera, to tell you how to get across. I was in Detroit a year ago, my wife and I were both in Detroit a year ago. My wife is also blind. We went for training on how to use the navigation cane. And in Detroit, the suburb of Detroit called, I believe it's called Rochester Hills, in contrast to what Harlingen provides to what they provide, I was able to walk across a 7-lane intersection in heavy traffic because these devices were in place, and not once did I feel in danger. Whereas here, when I tried to walk across Lincoln and Dixieland, to begin with, the crosswalk signals don't work properly. Second of all, there's nothing to tell me when I can cross. I have to guess. Third, the striping on the streets is not adequate.
Go ahead and continue, sir.
I'm sorry. I'll finish shortly. I'm here to do one thing, to bring attention to the issue that the city of Harlingen has pretty much neglected for a very long time, and that's accessibility to the disabled. Let me close by saying I do run a Facebook group called the Rio Grande Coalition of the Blind, and I encourage people to join that group and point out issues of accessibility, not only for the blind, but for everyone, so we can start working together. I'm ready to volunteer my time and services. I'm disabled, I'm unemployed, but I'm an advocate for persons with disabilities. I hope that we can improve it, because the fact of the matter is I cannot participate in many city functions because I'm afraid I'm going to fall. And the example is pretty relevant here, or very evident here. Walking up from the parking lot to here, there were so many potholes and cracks, and so much so I tripped twice. That shouldn't be the case. I don't have to tell you all that the liability behind that. But I'm not here to make a threat or anything. I want to work together with the city of Harlingen. I want to work with everyone in this building to bring attention to that. And I hope we can. As the saying goes, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. I'm here to take that first step, and I'm hoping that we can all reach that 1,000-mile mark and make it easy for everyone who is disabled, not just me. I want to thank you for your time. And I'll take any questions if anybody would like to.
First, I just want to say it's a pleasure to see you in person. Thank you so much for joining us. And I know of your concerns. I apologize I haven't gotten back to you, but I have reviewed that. And that is something that I do think as a commission we need to be more aware of the issues surrounding in our city. And that is something that we will work together as a commission to address. And I'll be reaching out to you. I know we've communicated in the past, and see how you can give us your perspective, and maybe we can sit down and talk more in depth.
I'm ready to go anytime, Mayor. Any single time. That's how important this is to me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Israel Aguilar, 28136 Cook Lane, Harlingen, Texas. I want to talk a little bit again about, since it's on the survey, safety, and of course, since it's on the survey, question 28, asking the residents to identify whether their children come to HCISD or not. Given the recent mandate from Governor Abbott to Texas Public Schools to initiate protocols around safety and security, and given the historic partnership, or MOU, if you will, with the City of Harlingen and the Harlingen Police Department with the school district, can you tell us a little bit about where you are in either the renewal or the non-renewal of that particular MOU for the coming year? Or what can you share with us thus far that you guys are thinking or doing in terms of dissolving that MOU so that Harlingen CISD could form their own police force? I am an educator by trade. I am a certified superintendent. I have a PhD in education administration, and so I've studied their budgets, and it's quite clear that they could afford not only one, maybe several police forces. So I don't know if you could share a little bit of information about where you are in the process of renewing it, or rejecting it, or still looking at it.
I can answer that. Dr. Aguilar, thank you. So we're still in the process right now of renewing the MOU. Probably not surprisingly to you, we don't have enough officers in the city police department to cover all the school district. They have about 30 buildings. So we're doing the best we can, and we're working with the school district to provide what we can, because I will give them everything I can to make sure our kids are safe. The school district themselves, of course, is a separate entity from the city of Harlingen, so I can't enforce on them to start their own school district police.
Sure.
Even if they did, it would be a several-year project, and we'd have to supplement until they got to a point they could operate on their own. But the MOU you're specifically talking about, it's in the works. I'm hoping to have it on a city agenda here fairly soon. Not the next one, the one after that.
And Chief Kester, if I may, would the current MOU or renewal of it include officers for every single school?
No.
Okay. So thank you for that update. So it's no surprise that that is a major concern of mine, right, considering recent events. And I just want to, again, hear a little bit more from the Commissioner's Court and from you, Mayor Sepulveda, about what are some of your thoughts regarding the fact that, again, as we just heard from Chief Kester, the renewal seems to be something that might be going through. Again, given the quick and the strict deadline of the governor, we really need to have tangible solutions here that are going to protect our children. Again, as an educator, and I know one of our commissioners is an educator, I would expect that this be something that is extremely important to you all. So if you can share a little bit about your thoughts.
As a teacher, I am a teacher at Harlingen South, so you could say I guess I'm in the front lines. And I do see that, that is a concern of mine, not only as a teacher, but as a parent as well. But I know I myself have reached out to some of the police officers there at the school, and I've also reached out to some of the school board members and stuff, and shared my concerns, just like many of you have as well. Unfortunately, the decision does lie with the school board, and we don't have that much say in whether they're going to do a police force for themselves or not. But I can tell you that we, the city, will support anything that they do, anything they can do in order to ensure the safety of our children. And I know from working at HCISD as a teacher there, I know that the school board and all the staff, administration, they themselves, they care about the kids. Okay, that's the one thing that I know without a doubt. They care about the kids. I know they'll do everything they can in order to ensure the safety of our kids. But is there room for improvement? Yes, I can guarantee. I have a friend of mine that works at one of the elementary schools, and he's the only security guard there. So are there some concerns? Yes. But as the chief said himself, we don't have enough police officers to put one. If it was up to me and we had manpower, I know each and every single one of us would vote for and say, hey, put a police officer in each one of the schools. But unfortunately, we don't have the manpower for that.
Right, and I think my last observation or comment to that, and I understand that, Renee, and I don't agree that that's enough. I care too, but at the end of the day, we need something more tangible and proven that's going to stop. And right now, we don't have that. And again, given the extreme amount of budget that HISD has, I don't understand why you guys, as the Commissioner's Court and the Mayor, would assume the liability of HCISD, which is a separate entity of its own. It's the largest taxing entity, and it has a large bank account. Why do you all assume the responsibility if there was to be a massacre there? Why? You guys are assuming this responsibility on your own.
So, Dr. Aguilar, let me just, we can't spend too much time on this, and it really isn't on the survey, but I do want to address your concerns. And I know you and I have spoken on multiple occasions. I share your concerns. I share your concerns. I'm a mom, I have kids, and I understand the issue. I just believe that your efforts would be better utilized towards the school district. The HPD, HPD doesn't get to make that decision. This commission doesn't get to make the decision. That decision is with the school district. We cannot make that decision. We can share our concerns, which all of us here on this commission have shared those concerns.
Perfect.
But there's only so much we can do. And of course, we want what's best for the kids. We do have next month, and I think Gabe has the date, that we are going to be having a safety conference, and the school will be represented, and there will be a breakout session where you can speak directly to safety and talk to the right entity, so that way your issues are better served, better addressed. And also I think you already know, and you have gone to the school board meetings, citizen communication there. We share your concerns. We hear you. We understand. It's just there's only so much that we can do.
Perfect. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
That conference will be July 16th at the Harlingen Convention Center. That conference will be on July 16th at the Harlingen Convention Center from 9 to noon. Yes, 9 to 12.
Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. My name is Stephen Jewett. I live here in Harlingen, and I first moved down here in January 1979 with USDA Soil Conservation. I worked the office here 9.5 years. I worked a total of 32 years with the federal government. My last office, I served 13.5 years. I served western half of Los Angeles County and all of Ventura County, 5 watersheds. One thing I'm championing is work at this drainage problem from a watershed standpoint. Our agency used to develop watershed plans, and all comprehensive, all the stakeholders, all the government entities have jurisdictional responsibility, because a watershed plan, you deal with all the resource issues, whether it's water quality, whether it's flood water, whether it's endangered species, you incorporate all those into one plan. That's the way it needs to be done, because you have to deal with water that comes from up watershed, because all Donna and Mercedes and all those, they are improving their drainage. It's going to come right down the Arroyo, affect you, and then what you do is going to affect people downstream. So I worked in an area where we did damage survey reports for flood water, for wildfires, mudslides, whatever you have. We did more damage survey reports than any other office, and I see real problems on the south end of Harlingen as far as adequacy of drainage. And the ways the city is developing, I can see there's a real problem there. I hope the city of Harlingen would sponsor the idea of if we work together with the other cities and do work cooperatively together and do a watershed plan, either through our agency or through Corps of Engineers. It depends on the size of the watershed, who has jurisdiction responsibility in the federal government. But I see that as a real need to really solve the problem. The problem, if you look back in history, when Falcon Reservoir was installed and Eisenhower came down to commemorate the project, they could have put a gravity canal all the way down along the river, and they wouldn't have had all these pumps running on electricity or diesel. Each individual district, if they'd worked together, they could have done that. That's what the All-American Canal from Yuma goes all the way to the eastern side of Imperial Valley up to Indio, and then they pump it over and serves San Diego County. So the difference is, if we can work together and solve the problem, you can accomplish a lot. Individually, it's all going to be piecemeal. Thank you for your time.
Sir.
Hi, my name is Nelda Ortiz, and I used to work for the city of Harlingen with the city attorney's office between the 80s and 90s. And when I started working, I was taught to be a public servant and to address any concerns that came through my office, call that person back and give them an answer, whether it was something they liked to hear or not. But we were there as public servants to serve the public. Now, my concerns are, I have called many employees from different offices. They don't return your calls. They don't tell you. I've called, like one example, I recently attended the Planning and Zoning meeting in May. When we got there, we were told it was canceled because they didn't have a quorum. Okay, so we had emailed our petition with a name, phone number, and address to the Secretary of the Planning and Zoning. They could have called us. A lot of us work, so we showed up there, and they told us, oh, we didn't have a quorum. Okay, so why didn't you notify us? They knew a day in advance, and they never called. Now, there's other, like I've called the building permits, and the phone rings and rings and rings and rings. I had to call the city secretary, hey, do you know if the building permits is answering their phone? She said, yes, they should be. I said, well, they're not. So I've called different departments, and they're just like, they transfer me from place to place to place. Also, the police department. Last year, We filed a complaint because one of my aunts, they stole from her. We filed a report, and she's an elderly lady that has dementia. We filed a report. We never got a courtesy call to say, this is what your case is going on. Since I worked for the city, I told them, we have to go, because we had called, left messages and messages, nothing. We went in person, oh, he's busy, we'll have him call you, nothing. So one time I said, you know what? We're going down there, we're talking either to the chief or to the captain or someone above the detective, because we're not getting any answers. So we did, we got Alvier. He told us, okay, I'm gonna look into it. He got the detective, he brought him down, he brought other persons that were working on the case. We'll get back to you. Nothing. This year, this happened in October. This year, because I had been pursuing it, we finally got an answer that nothing could be done on that case. So there's a failure there. Somebody needs to get your employees trained to address concerns. Even if it's a negative concern, call that person. Say, you know what, we can't do anything for you. Or direct you to the right person. So a lot of your employees need training to teach them they are public servants like you all. That's all I have to say.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate your feedback. It helps us as a commission.
What I wanted to say real quick is, first, I apologize that happened to you. And what I would recommend for everyone, each and every single one of us has a telephone number. Our telephone numbers are on the website. All you have to do is go to the website, it's on the bottom, and then call us. I know I encourage my constituents from District 5 to call me all the time, and I get calls, they text me and all that. That's what we're here for. Okay, that's what we're here for. If you first call the city, if you don't get any response from the city, which you should, then call us. That's what we're here for. Okay, the two new guys, I checked right now, their number's not there, but it will be updated shortly. But call us. That's what we're there for. We're supposed to be able to respond to you. And most of us here have for those of you that are on social media, most of us, I believe I have one, Frank has one. No, I know Daniel has one, and Mr. Kingsley has one as well. We're also on the social media. You can also message us there as well. So please, if you have any issues, anything like that, you're having trouble, just like you were, man, please reach out to us. That's what we're here for. Okay, thank you.
Hi, my name, okay, hello, my name is Brandy Peña, and I live in District 1. The thing that's most important to me
Ms. Peña, can you get a little closer?
Sorry. Good? Okay. I live in District 1, and the thing that's most important to me is the environment and taking small steps to reduce our carbon footprint. I'm so nervous, sorry. I don't really have a complaint, but it's more of an awareness thing. I think that my solution to this is just basically having city cleanups where maybe once or twice a month, we come together as a community and tackle an area at a time to keep Harlingen clean, whether it's the side of the roads or cleaning up local parks. The second thing I think is recycling, just to help teach our community the importance of recycling, what we can and can't recycle, and what our recycling center offers. And then third is just for switching from plastic to paper, have maybe local businesses switch to paper bags instead of plastic. And not a whole drastic 360 flip where, it has to happen tomorrow, but just to help us be more biodegradable and won't have to worry whether those plastics end up in our water systems or even in our fences or parks. Because I know sometimes we have a big issue with HEB bags and fences and stuff, yeah. And I think it'll kind of help with that. But that's what's most important to me, and I think that would be good.
Thank you so much. If you could provide to maybe Amanda your contact information, I'd like to get back with you so we can talk a little bit more about that. I have a lot of ideas and I need some help, so maybe you can help me with that.
Yeah, just because I feel it's really important, and I know it's hot here, and with global warming, it's just going to get hotter.
Right.
So that's really important. And it's like our community is a good community, and I think being here together, like, it just makes it even better because it's like you get to hear what we have to say, you know? Because from what I understand, like, we used to have these meetings during the day when people were at work, and it's a good time to come now. So that's why I think I wanted to be up here and voice like everything.
Ma'am, may I just, for a quick second, Ford Kinsley, District 1 City Commissioner, former President, Keep Harlingen Beautiful, near and dear to my heart, believe me. I mean, I asked today if code enforcement still did the neighborhood cleanups. COVID caused a lot of things to go away.
Yeah, definitely.
And believe me, we've got TSTC, we've got Marine Military Academy, we've got kids that need the community service for their college resumes. We're going to get this reinvigorated on the cleanup side, trust me, because I mean, that was my baby for about 6 years, so.
No, I
I'm with
understand
you.
that, like, and I get it. Like, it takes time and things happen and stuff gets in the way.
Please make sure I get your contact info.
Yeah, but yeah, I think it would be good to come as a community and do things like that. The environment's important. Okay.
Folks, just an FYI, last year we passed an ordinance that requires the majority of our meetings, whether it's the city commission, whether it's the airport board, the EDC, or planning and zoning, they all have to be held after 5:30 p.m. Because previous times, what they were doing, they were having them at 12, they're having them at 8 in the morning. I mean, I work, most of you work. I mean, how many of us want to take a day off for that? So we went ahead and changed that. So now most of the I would say about 90% of the meetings are held after 5:30 p.m. So we encourage you, please come to the meetings. If you have concerns, come to the meetings. That's what we need. We need feedback. So please come. They're all after 5:30. Go to the city website, like Gabe was saying earlier. You can check the dates and the times and just show up.
Every town hall will also be in the evening, so you'll have other additional opportunities to come. Please state your name, ma'am.
Yes, good evening, everyone. My name is Joanne Garcia. I'm a longtime resident. In fact, I've lived in Harlingen all my life. That's 49 years, and I'll age myself, that's fine. But I would like to take the opportunity to address and kind of reiterate what you said, that you really don't have a strong decision-making hand in the role of the school board. And I would like to take advantage of this time because we have, a couple of school board members here that because we had no representation from the school board at our town hall meetings to specifically address the issue of school security. I am going to take the time to address that at this, right now. So I appreciate the police officer indicating that they were short-staffed because that is important to note. And because they are responsible for showing up in case there is a security issue at our schools, it is important that you do urge the school district to involve you in more conversations with getting a plan into place. As you said, we have very little time. And let's go a step further. It's not just the school district. What about the charters? What about our daycares? Those are our most vulnerable. Okay, they are not governed by the school district. So we need for the staffing issue of our police officers to be addressed, to even get to the point to where we feel a little safety for our children in our schools. So I urge you that you do get involved with the school district. We need to put a bug in their ears, sir, that you need to hear the parents' concerns. Come to the meetings when you're asked to come to the meetings. The parents had a lot of suggestions that could be incorporated. They are speaking out and they want you to act. As an elected official, they want you to act. And they deserve that. They deserve for you to hear them out. Thank you.
Yeah.
Robert Lethwich, 909 East Parkwood, Harlingen, District 3. I was out of town on the DC conference last week, and I missed y'all swearing in. I just want to congratulate Commissioner Kinsley and Commissioner Lopez on joining the commission. The other thing I wanted to continue, there is a public safety section here for police specific. And yes, I'm going to talk about the situation with the school district. there's a couple things on here that I'd like to find out. You're asking for police response time. Doesn't the department, don't they do that internally? Don't you have numbers that you could tell us what the response time is?
Yes, we keep those numbers.
Okay, and you mentioned that you're authorized for 134 police officers, but what are you staffed at?
Well, we're actually right now staffed at 139.
You're authorized for 134, but you're okay.
Right, because the officers we currently provide to the school district and another agency that pays 100% of those officers' salaries, we can overhire for them.
Okay, and then my next question is, and this is kind of an information for the public, is the school district reimbursed the city of Harlingen for the officers that they have on duty at the campuses.
Correct, 100%.
And what is that budget?
I don't have that number at the time, but it's a little under $1 million.
Okay, so it's about $1 million, because I remember as many years ago they had 4 officers. What are you up to now?
Currently, they have 4 full-time and 5 overtime officers.
5 overtime. So what amount of overtime would they be spending at the campus?
It'd be all day.
It'd be all day. So if they're there, they're
rate.
all day. So you said how many? 4 and 5 overtime?
Yeah, 4.
So a total of 9 officers for 30 campuses?
Correct.
Okay, and what in the city itself is divided into sections for patrol purposes, correct?
Correct. We have 10.
How many officers do you have in each district?
Well, we have 10 districts, and we try to put an officer in each one.
Okay. 1 officer in each district?
Correct.
24 hours a day?
Correct.
And no more during the day?
Well, it depends on the day, staffing. Of course, during the daytime, we have all of CID and support services working. In the evenings and overnight, it's mainly patrol.
So for a backup situation in a shooter, active
Correct.
shooter situation, what do you have? You have 1 or 2 that are close, and then your response time is what?
And it depends on what's going on that day. Typically, a response time is 3 to 5 minutes.
So if you have an active shooter at one campus, you lock down the other campuses?
That depends on the school district.
Well, what I'm
recommend
saying
it,
is,
but
so
we
you
lock
can't
down
bring
that one.
those backups from the other campuses.
Right.
So if you've got 2 resource officers at one campus, then
Thank you, Mr. Leftwich.
I just wanted to say one more thing. With regard to the city commission influencing the school board, the fact is that if we were to have Uvalde event in Harlingen or anything close to it, a death from any kind of an active shooter, CNN and Fox are going to be talking to the city manager and the mayor. They're not going to be going to the school board or the superintendent. They're going to be talking to y'all. And the fact is, the city commission can tell the school board on the next MOU that y'all need to ramp up, and if you don't want to pay for a district, your next bill is going to be $1.5 or $2 million. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Leftwich. On that note, I'd invite everyone to the safety conference that is going to be held next month, and the school district will be there, the city of Harlingen, and other representatives, so you can get more information. And hopefully we can move on to city topics would be nice. Yes, sir.
Good evening. I guess my comments more involve the community needs. I'm Javier Lafontaine. I live on 605.
What is your name, sir? I'm sorry.
Javier Lafontaine.
LaFontaine.
Yeah, 605 E Woodland Drive. I guess I wear 2 hats. I'm the inaugural dean of the School of Pediatric Medicine here in your city of Harlingen. So thank you for giving me the opportunity. But I also live in the city of Harlingen. So I just wanted to bring kind of a good point, just because I want you to we're going to be in a new educational program for the city of Harlingen. Now I want to bring the point that the School of Pediatric Medicine here have 2 missions. One, to offer a professional education opportunity for the students from down here from the valley, especially to Cameron County. So all these kids I see sitting here, hopefully you're going to be a student in our school, okay? And the second thing is, to accomplish that, we're here to partner with the community. So we want to bring a good foot and ankle care to the community of Harlingen and the Rio Grande Valley. I guess the second hat is I'm a resident. My kids go to the Harlingen School District. I'm a product of public education, and I think that's the best way to go. They're going to be in the Harlingen School District until they graduate. So anything I can help the district on, I'm ears. Thank you.
Much.
My name is Lorraine Galarza, as I had already mentioned, and I really liked what he was saying, but I'd like to also educate everybody here in reference to educational programs. As you all know, I have spoken to some of the commissioners in reference to, like, for example, the VIDA program that we used to have here in place for the people who wanted to continue their education. That was removed by the city of Harlingen. That is a program that is offered throughout the valley, and we're probably the only city who doesn't sponsor our children. So I'm glad you're bringing that up, sir, so that you're aware. And if y'all want to know more information about that, do your research, ladies and gentlemen, if you care about the kids. And I had to bring you guys back to the security and so forth, and to what we had been talking about. I'm sorry I have to bring it back. But it doesn't seem like the chief knows very much, and he did not show up to any of our meetings, and neither did any of the officers. And I really encourage that. If you guys really want to protect and serve, are you all puppets that do what your bosses tell you? Or you're going to step out and be that
Excuse
servant
me,
like the
ma'am,
young lady
if we
said?
could just limit your comments to the survey and not any personal attacks.
Oh, I'm going
on
by
any of
the
our
survey
staff.
that says safety. I thought
No,
that was
but-
part of it.
No, not attacking the chief of police.
I'm
on
not
that
attacking
issue.
him. I don't even
So
have an
just
arm.
keep your
I'm
comments to the
speaking my
survey, please.
concern. That's right. And that is a fact because we have it in writing. He did instruct us, he gave us some information that he would be attending our town hall meeting and that he would be sending somebody in his place, and they didn't send anybody. I just wanted to make that clear for the record. And it's not an attack. It's voicing my concern, and I'm a taxpayer, and I'm also a Harlingen resident, and I have vested time in this community. I'm a registered nurse, and I'm an educated person, and I have every right, just like you, to express my concerns.
Thank you.
And I do not want this to be a Uvalde event. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'm nervous too. Hi, my name is Letty Luna, and I'm in District 3, and I'm here for the perception of the city. I've lived in Harlingen for 21 years, and I'm sorry, I'm nervous. And the time that I've been here, and I just saw my realtor who sold the house to me 21 years ago. And when we first moved here, of course, we fell in love with Harlingen. And in those 21 years, so many things have changed. I recently retired and from an educator, the school district, and I see the safety concerns, believe me, there's a lot of things. But you guys have a lot of things going on, and you know, I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt. I want to see Harlingen back to what Harlingen used to be. I want to see Harlingen back to where, you know, when we first moved here, we had choice all across the valley. And we picked Harlingen. Like, you know what? We had actually lived here like 1 year, but we came back to Harlingen because it was just so much, you know, that we loved about it. And like I said, now that I'm retired, I'm seeing a lot of things. I'm learning a lot about the city. And some things I like, some things I don't like. I see everybody's concerns. I see all those concerns. Trust me, I've seen them. But again, I think you guys do have a lot of work. But I know it can be done. And I just want to say, you know, Harlingen Proud, I remember Mr. Matz lived next door to me, and, you know, he did so much, and those kind of things I want to see again. And just, you know, Harlingen is my heart. When my husband retires, I'm hoping we'll stay here, that we do make it a home. And, you know, thank you to all of you guys. You've got a lot of work, a lot of work. So thank you.
So much, Letty. Is there anyone else that would like to speak? Sorry?
I have a lot of concern. First of all, my name is Elias Garcia. I live on Gabriel's Landing.
I'm sorry,
Elias Garcia.
Garcia.
Off of Gabriel's Landing. I have two questions. I understand I'm probably limited to one. I don't want to waste anybody's time. My first concern is, because it says quality of maintenance of city streets. I guess my question is it a lottery? How do you know, when does your street get picked to get fixed? And I only say that because where I live, besides the flooding, I'm not even going to get into that. I love swimming. You know, brings me back to the 90s. It's like swimming in the canals. Potholes on my street. I've lived there maybe 6-7 years. There's a pothole in front of my house that just keeps growing. Not that my kids love it with the bikes. They hit it and everything. I'm just curious. How do you pick your streets that need maintenance?
We have the engineering department does a survey on city streets based on amount of traffic and the condition of the street. And then once they determine what streets need to be repaved, we bring that to the city commission, and it's decided in an open meeting what streets are going to get repaved, and that's the process that we use. The pothole that's in front of your house, what is your address?
Out of fear?
Well, okay, you know what? Never mind. Come see me. Come see me afterwards, and I'll get your address down. Just
a question. If I decide to fix it myself,
no, don't do that. We'll fix it.
it's not possible, right? Okay.
We'll do it.
I've been thinking about it. My wife's like, "Don't do it." I'm like,
No, don't do it. We'll do it for you.
Elias, you have my number. Text me.
But you're not my district. That's why I'm saying.
I can still do it.
It's okay. Commissioner Bettis, will you tell us a little bit about taking a picture on the app and...
Some of you may not know, there's a city app. It's the City of Harlingen app, and I use it all the time. Last year when I first became a commissioner, I cruised around my entire district, and we had a lot of potholes, and I just went around, I just used the app, and I boom, took a picture of it, submitted it, and within a couple of days, most of them were fixed. I don't remember the amount, but there was a lot. I'm proud to say that I think District 5 is probably the district with the least amount of potholes, because I've done my best to go around and take the pictures, but I've also encouraged a lot of my residents to download the app. You download the app, it's very simple. It can be used on Android, it can be used on Apple, and all you do is you go around, you see an app, you see a pothole, you get your phone, click on the app, and there's a lot of different options that you can use. You can everything from reporting a pothole to brush to code compliance to animal control, a lot of things that you can do, and all you do is take a picture of it and you submit it. It gives you a ticket number. It goes to the staff, and our staff our public works staff is great, and they go out there and they'll fix it within a couple of days, if not the very next day. So see me afterwards, and I'll show you how to do the app. In case anybody's interested in knowing how to work the app, you can see me afterwards, and I'll give you I'll show you how to use the app, because the app is really it's a really useful tool to use, and it's good. Trust me, I use it all the time.
If anybody wants to have that tutorial done, I would ask that you download the app now. It's available on the App Store for iPhones, and I don't know where you go for an Android. Sergio?
The Play Store. It's a Play Store. Same thing.
Okay,
just
that one.
Google City of Harlingen, it'll come up.
Can I give my second concern or no?
Also, Commissioner Kingsley is now your new commissioner, and I'm sure we will have his number up here shortly so that you can reach out to him as well for any concerns. But really, the app is the way to go. But we are all here to serve you, so you feel free to reach out to any of us. But your specific commissioner would be Mr. Kingsley.
Okay. There's nobody else behind me. Can I do one more concern?
Yes.
Are you guys okay with it? The parks. My question is availability to the parks. By availability, and I mean, it says quality of the city and parks. So the quality is okay. I recently spent a couple of weeks at Victor Park. First of all, their seatings. If you love getting your shorts torn or painted over, it's great. I don't know if you guys can touch that, if there can be anything done for the benches that are there. They're extremely outdated. And fencing at Vesto. I currently ran Lee out of there. Fencing would help getting these kids not run over. Is there a status on that grant for that? I understand they put in for that.
It's just recently in one of the past meetings, we approved some funding for it, right, Javier? You want to give a little bit of update on that for Vestal Park?
Yeah, so the grant that we applied for that we've talked about in the past is for Vestal for we're looking at parking improvements and then also the fencing. We did install fencing already on the railroad side of the park, but we're waiting for, I'm looking over at CDBG director, but we did get approval. I believe they're waiting for the plan to be approved by HUD so we can start using that money.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mayor, if I may add something about the potholes.
Yes.
Just for everyone's knowledge, we have 2 trucks that are designed to fix potholes. That's all they do. And we hope to buy a 3rd one this year or next. And from the database, as you put in your request for your pothole at intersection of X and Y or in front of my house at whatever address, those guys get each of those chits and they bundle them up for an area of town and they take their truck out and they not only fix that pothole, but they look around, 100 feet in each direction to fix any other potholes while they're there. That's all they do all day long. So we're trying to get to them all, but of course, if we could ask for your help in letting us know where they are, and I've used it myself, where I live to get potholes fixed. Let us know. We'll send the trucks out. Thanks.
Nicolas Cruz, 814 South J, live on the west side of town. I'm just glad that this is happening. I know I hear everybody's concerns and I feel free because they're my concerns, but I'm just glad to see a change, at least in the positive direction. I know it's a lot of work ahead, but thank you. Just want to say that.
Thank you so much, Mr. Cruz.
I needed to address another concern. Who's the commissioner that's for the Loop 499? You're the...
Well, it depends where.
1821, there's a whole bunch of junk vehicles in that area. It's several, there's a restaurant, and then further on up, it's 1821.
What's the restaurant?
It's past the restaurant Herrera's. It's past that.
I think
keep
it's
on going.
Too.
It's right before you. It's right before you get to the canal.
Is that where the 2 stripes are like right across from each other
That-
by that expressway, like when you're going to Combs?
Like if you're
Right.
going to the airport.
Yeah, you're going east.
Right. Once you.
That's right
be-
between us,
Right
so-
before the canal.
Okay.
I have called. I went personally to report all those junk vehicles, and they told me that they had gone to issue a citation. Last week, because I haven't heard anything, I talked to Mr. Noyola, and this is where I don't get no calls or anything. I talked to Mr. Noyola and I said, what's going on with those junk vehicles? Just like everybody else, we want to see our city beautiful, and that loop goes all the way to the airport. So you got traffic galore, but that is an eyesore, ugly thing. Well, Mr. Noyola said, well, I don't know, now it's up to the court, I issued a citation. I said, okay, can you go back? Because I'm sure this was like 2-3 months ago that I went. I said, can you go back and see, talk to the person? Because that really looks bad. And he said, well, if we have to, we'll go back and do another citation. But, that's all I got. But I wish one of you all can just go and look and see how ugly it looks. Thank you.
Afterwards, if I can get your phone number as well, please.
And I'll look into that for you to make sure that the municipal court judge did do something with it. Sometimes the owner doesn't show up, so that delays everything further.
I want to share some numbers from the mobile app that I have here. From June last year to May, potholes was the #1 request using the mobile app. 125 of those, and they were resolved. And in total, the mobile app had 628 requests from the citizens from June last year to May of last month.
I bet
So
you between
it really
reading
works,
that.
and
Those are
people
all
are using it
readings.
more and more, and it's a quick, easy way to get the fast response. The mobile app has a feature that it keeps track of the requests, and it has escalation. So if the request is not taken care of within number of days, it goes from the director to the city manager. So it doesn't die the request until it gets resolved, and it keeps escalating as it gets older. So I suggest that that's the best way to get something taken care of.
Thank you.
It's not just for potholes, it's for a lot, like, ma'am, you were mentioning the junk vehicle, that's actually one of the options that you can also use. So if you had been with the app of it, it would have sent it, to one of the directors, and they would have been able to.
Well,
I believe so, because that's part of code compliance, so that, that works too.
Yeah,
Brush,
well,
everything.
Yeah, the second number on the app is general complaints with 83, mosquito complaints 78, grass complaints 70, code compliance complaints requests 54, trash service complaints 51, mowing 50, brush complaints 43, street improvement 32, street lights out 32. Those are the top items, but we have like 30 different categories that you can use.
Thank you so much. A show of hands, who has the app on their phone, City of Harlingen app? Yeah, so homework is when you leave here, download the app. You need to take the survey. If you haven't taken the survey, take a hard copy if you want a hard copy. I wanted to take this time to thank all of you for coming out tonight and taking the time to be here with us. Sometimes, conversations are difficult, but the only way for us to move forward is to give an opportunity to hear from all of you. So we want to continue to do this. We're going to be having, as I mentioned, other town halls in each of your districts, and we will be posting that online, and I hope that you all join us and you tell your friends, your family, your neighbors, so that way we have more input from the community. And if you have any other questions, unfortunately we are out of time, but we will be here for a few minutes if you want to talk to anyone individually. I hope we can stay for a few minutes, and I look forward to seeing you at the next meeting. Do you have anything, Gabe?
We'll be posting the town halls on our website. I need to get together with the mayor and each of the commissioners is going to be hosting that particular date to make sure they're available. But they will be on our website, not as a meeting, but as an attendant participate. But the date will be there. So check our website for those dates. Thank you.
And at this time, the meeting will be adjourned. Thank you so much.